right. All right.
With that, we are going to get started, but we danced for how long, 5-star? See, now that's a workout.
Right.
That's a workout, but every time after you work out, you guys are getting ready you're ready now to take it in. You're ready to absorb, right? So while you're sitting there, and for those of you that's online at home and you joined us, get a sip of water. You know, go visit Dr. Hydration right quick, right? go have a sip on him, right? And then I want you to breathe, because we just got to bring it down, because we got to get ready, right?
Yes, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in.
I don't know where she just went, but let me keep y'all here. I don't know where she went, but I want you to inhale and then exhale. Inhale and exhale. Y'all ready for Jerry Franklin Poe? Because we get ready to bring him to the stage. Jerry, come on, give him a round of applause. He's getting ready to give us some rejection therapy. But hold up, y'all, because I know that you can do better than that, right? I want you to give him a round of applause as he make his way to the stage. Come on, y'all, let's give it to him. Come on.
Come on.
Jerry, let's go.
Jerry Franklin Poe.
Yes, take it.
Woo.
Thank you, babe.
Is it your time? Is it your time? I don't believe you. Get it.
Go get it.
Go get it.
Go get it. Go get
If
it.
you're going to go get it, you got to get on your feet. If you're going to go get it, you got to get on your feet. You can't get it while you're sitting down. Is it your time? Woo! You can't be resting if you're going to get it. You can't be sitting down if you're going to go get it. You got to get up. You got to do something. You got to make it happen. See, a lot of people have been asking me all week, like, Jerry, why in the world are you at an event for women? Now, can I keep it real today? Can I be authentic with you? Can I just give you the real Jerry? Can I do that? Can I do that? If you're online listening, say, yes, Jerry, give it to us. Keep it real, brother. Keep it real. I'm going to do that for you. See, maybe 20 years ago, 15 years ago, you would never find me at a conference for women. But something changed. Something changed when my daughter Layla was born. I remember sitting in the delivery room in Einstein Hospital in Philadelphia. Yeah, Philadelphia in the house. Is Philadelphia in the house? So they always be like, Brooklyn's in the house. No, Philadelphia's in the house today, baby. Philly. We were sitting in there in the delivery room, and I can't explain it. I cannot put it into words. But there was a transformation that took place in my heart. My heart shifted. And from that day forward, I was all about the black woman. Because, see, I don't have children. People are like, oh, I got kids. No, I don't have kids. I got adults in training.
Yeah, there you go.
And I'm preparing them to be strong, dominant, take over black women. And isn't this a takeover room? Is this a takeover room?
Yeah.
So people are like, why are you here? Because Womanpreneur is about supporting the black woman to take over and claim her dominance in this society. See, one of the things I've been studying is who we really were before we became enslaved and kidnapped. Because we got to get back our identity. They talk about identity theft. Identity theft, that happened to us first. Before all this technology crap, we were the ones that had our identity stolen. And most of us are walking around not knowing who we are, who we were. So we got to claim, in order for us to take over, we got to claim who we were. That's why I'm here to support the Womanpreneur event. But also another question people have been asking me, like, why in the world are you teaching this topic called rejection therapy? And I'm going to answer this and keep it real simple for you. Because last night, you had a great presentation. And what was that presentation on? Can anyone remind, if you were watching online last night, you were in the room last night, what did they talk about last night, right? The last presentation? Starts with a B. Starts with a B. Branding. Now, Shay, is this in the video? Where'd Shay go? I'm going to move it over. Don't worry, I'll move it over to get it into the camera. So we got a little B here. No, I don't want black, I want blue. I I'm gonna do a little blue. B. So how many of us want a powerful brand? Yeah. If you're online watching right now, do you want a powerful brand? Put yes in the comments. Yes, I want a powerful brand. But see, the reason why we got into business was not really for the brand. See, if we're honest with ourselves, we sit down, we look in the mirror, and we keep it real. Most of us didn't get into business to help people. We got into business for the D. Because you're going to help people for free. It's true? I mean, we're going to keep it real, right? We got into business because a lot of us had a job we didn't like. A lot of us had a job we were unfulfilled. And we decided there was something else I want to do in this world, and I want to get compensated for it. So the idea of the brand is to get you to what? The dollars. But see, for most small business owners, they don't end up with a brand that leads to dollars. You know what they get? They get broke and disgusted. I'll say it again because I don't think everybody caught it. They got what? Broke and disgusted. Because there's a one piece in the middle that they miss, and that starts with an A. It's called acquisition. You can have the best brand all day, but at some point, you got to acquire a customer and a client to turn that into dollars. I said, you can have the best brand all day, but at some point, you have to acquire a customer to turn that customer, that client, into what? Dollars. Let me make sure I can spell this in here. If I miss a letter, just add it in. There you go. There we go. I'm from a small town with 2 stoplights, so I live near Philly. If I said my real town, people would never know where I live. I grew up in Avondale, Pennsylvania. It's out by the Amish. So I say Philly because that's the closest airport to this. Like, where's Avondale? It's not even on the map. Not even on the map. So what is this about? The reason why I teach rejection therapy, because people can attract folks, but they're afraid to ask them for their dollars. You can attract people all day long, but if you can't ask them for the money, you're going to be broke and disgusted. Now, years ago, there was a song. Little light-skinned dude with straight hair. He fixed his nose. I think it was called Michael Jackson. He had a song called B.A.D. It was called Bad. Remember that song? You remember that song? He was like, "Are you who's bad? Who's bad? Who's bad? Hit it again. Who's bad? Who's bad? Who's bad?" See, you want to have your business that's bad, not bad meaning bad, but bad meaning good. Because if you're bad out here, you're making some serious dollars. But the reason why people aren't getting to the dollars is because of the acquisition. Let me break this down for you. Because rejection therapy is all about how you think about this acquisition part. See, it's all about your relationship to the no. If you're having fear of the no or scared of the no, you're not going to ask the question. I'm going to break it real simple. I'm going to give you an analogy. Who's heard of Kia before? And you're online watching Kia. We heard of Mercedes, and we heard of Maserati. So we heard of these 3 brands. All of them are brands, right? Okay, so we all agree they all are brands. Now, all those 3 brands, are they all interested in making some dollars? Okay, but all of them go about it different ways. And see, I want to know if you are Kia, if you are a Mercedes, or are you a Maserati? Because see, what most of us don't realize is that Kia, when it comes to their acquisition process, their sales process is begging. And a lot of people watching the video online, sitting in this room, their acquisition process is begging, which is why they have issues with rejection therapy. See, Kia, when you watch their commercials, I see them all the time, they're like, "No money down. We'll give you a car when you get a car." Who's seen these commercials? Am I the only one that ever seen these commercials? Just walk in. As long as you have a house, we'll give you a car. So you got somewhere, they just want to make the transactions. No payments for a year. I'm like, no payments for a year? What's that about? Like, who's ever seen, am I the only one who's ever seen these commercials? Like, have you seen these commercials before? Yeah. No, does that sound like begging to you? Like, and let me refer to you some of their businesses. You got these coaches out here. "I'm going to do a free session for you. I'm going to do a free assessment. Can you come over here and talk to me, please? Can you get into my program? Can you buy my book? If you get this, I'll hook you up with this, this, and this. I'll even watch your kids for you. Just please, baby, show my services." Now, what type of posture is that if you're begging? There's no strength in that. Which is why people are like, "I'm getting no's, because nobody wants to follow people that are weak. Now let's look at Mercedes. And somebody's like, "Yeah, I'm not a Kia, I'm a Mercedes." But see, Mercedes just takes it up one step. All they're doing is competing. They're competing, because when you watch a Mercedes commercial, they're like, we got this award for best safety. We're the #1 in this area. For 5 years straight, we got this award for being the best reliable car. You want to get this type of warranty. We never fail. We got 2 airbags inside airbags.
Zero interest.
Does everyone understand this? They're competing. So the question is, are you Kia, are you Mercedes, or are you Maserati? When was the last time you saw a Maserati commercial? Because they're not competing, they're not begging, they're qualifying. And if you're qualifying people, you're not getting rejected, you're rejecting them.
Come on.
Tina had a class yesterday over there in the Big Ideas room, and Tina was talking about language, that the words you use shape how you feel in the world that you walk into. Isn't that right, Tina? What you said yesterday? See, how we use our words shapes the posture that we have. When you're begging and you're competing, you are in a weaker posture. When you're qualifying, aren't you expecting to eliminate people?
Yes. Wow.
So when someone says no, it's like, all right, you weren't the one. I'm looking for the winners. And I'm looking to eliminate folks. Because when you're eliminating people, it's natural to say they didn't qualify. They didn't make the cut. They weren't the one. But when you're begging and competing, you're like, I wish they would have said yes. I wish they would have took it. Are you listening online? Are you listening to me? Are you begging? Are you competing? And are you qualifying? Are you Kia? Are you Mercedes-Benz? Or are you Maserati? That's the question you got to ask. And what determines which one you are? It's rejection therapy. Because rejection therapy is developing a healthy relationship with the no. See, a lot of folks are out there, they're trying to avoid the no. Then you got people who are teaching you stuff, how to eliminate the no. No, I don't want to eliminate it. I don't want to avoid it. I just want to process it and keep moving on. This is why I'm teaching this thing called rejection therapy. Because you want to be in a strong position. You don't want to be out there begging. You want to be in a position where people are showing up to your dealership. You've never seen a commercial for Maserati, Bentley, Rolls-Royce. But all of us know those brands. We know how much they cost, and they're still in business. Does everyone understand that? So you got to decide for yourself, where are you going to be? So I'm here to help you with the acquisition process. Now, I'm not going to stand up on a stage and lie to you and be like, I've never had an issue with rejection. I've always been able to deal with the no successfully. I never cried on my pillow. That's all lies. See, I understand rejection therapy because I was my first rejection therapy client. Okay? So when he says, who is it for? It was first for me because I had a fear of rejection. I was afraid. I've been hurt before. I was afraid to ask, and I had all that stuff. I had the same stuff that you're dealing with, whether you're here in this room, whether you're online. Listen, I had all the same stuff. And I can tell you where it started. I'm going to just keep it completely honest with you today. See, what you're dealing with now in your business is basically childhood issues that are unresolved. Okay? I'm going to just keep it real with you. So let me go back in history and tell you about the first time I was rejected. And I call this my first major or vivid rejection. Okay, my first vivid rejection, I was 8 years old. I was in the 3rd grade. And there was this young lady by the name of Shannon. So I'm not going to say her last name because I know Shannon, she still exists. She still lives in my town. And I don't want her to really know that I'm talking about her online. All right, because like, he's talking about you. But Shannon, I know where you are. But it's okay. It's all right. I'm better now. See, in 3rd grade, I was this shy, short little kid, and I saw Shannon, and when she would walk by, I'd be like, oh, Shannon's over there. Look at Shannon. And I would get these butterflies. So one day, I was like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to write Shannon a note. I'm going to write a little note. Now, our notes, it wasn't this big. It wasn't like this big, but we had a piece of paper. Because this is before. For all you watching online, this is way before text messaging.
Right.
There was no smartphones. Okay, there was no tablets. Our tablet was a piece of paper. It was yellow, and it had some blue lines on it. Okay, that's what a tablet was for me. So I took my piece of paper, and I said, Shannon, I like you. I really, really like you. And I hope, Shannon, that you like me too. Just check whatever box you like. Is it going to be the yes box, Shannon? Or is it going to be the no box? Is it going to be yes or no? Now, okay, anyone who has experience with note writing knows you don't just pass the note as is. You got to fold the note up. And you got to fold it a couple times with intricate folds so it's nice and neat. It looks like a puzzle that was put together that you got to unravel. Who knows what I'm talking about? If you know what I'm talking about there, out in the feed, if you know what I'm talking about, put out, yes, Jerry. I know what you're talking about. I used to send my notes too. So you got to pass the note. I was in this, and I still remember my teacher. This is Miss Buffington. That was my 3rd grade teacher. So we passed the note around. So I slide it to one person. They slide. You can watch it. Who remembers watching the note be slide around from table to table? Yes, I'm like, ooh, getting a little nervous, but it's going to be all right. I'm going to be a positive thinker. So Shannon gets the note. She said no. She said no. That's what she said to me. So for the rest of 3rd grade, I had to avoid Shannon. Because you don't want to be around a person who did what? Rejected you. You don't want to be around them. That was my first vivid rejection. Now, at the time, I'm 8 years old. I'm in 3rd grade. I'm not going to counseling. There's no one doing a self-help book for me to read. There's no Les Brown on PBS talking about you got to be hungry. No, none of that existed. No, there was none of that. None of that at all. None of it. So, who was there to help me process the rejection I experienced in 3rd grade? It's just me. It wasn't like I went home to my dad, like, Dad, I sent this girl a note. She said no. No. Who wants to tell their pops, like, yo, man, I got rejected by this girl today? First of all, in our society, we don't teach men to express how they feel. Right. Number one. So it wasn't like I came home to have a conversation, but I just did it on myself. And even if I did tell my parents about it, let's be perfectly honest. My parents weren't therapists. It was like they went to training. Only thing we had was church. See, in our black community, typically we don't go to therapy. We have church and we got alcohol. If we keep it real, on every corner there's a church and a liquor store. And you make a choice. People make a choice, which one or the other. Now, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with drinking. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with church. I'm just saying that's just the way it is. That's just the way it is, okay? So that was the first rejection. But here's the reality, folks. Rejection doesn't stop with this one. So 3rd grade turns to 4th grade, 4th grade turns to 5th grade, and where I was in school, my school district, 5th grade was the start of middle school. And in middle school, the rejections now start to get compounded. How many of us remember gym class? Remember we had to change for gym, put on gym clothes, and then in gym class, sometimes they would pick teams. Who remembers them picking teams? So we're gonna play some basketball. Like, yes, play basketball. So when you get to basketball in gym, they pick 2 people, and those people are gonna be the captains, right? So what do the captains do? The captains get out, and they go out on the stand, and everybody else is sitting up on the bleachers. Like, yeah, can't wait to get picked. So who do the captains pick first, typically? Yeah, and the people that think they're going to be good because they want to win. The captains want to win. If you're watching online, you know the captains. You were probably a captain. And who do you think gets picked last? Okay, now remember, I'm really tall. Everybody can see how tall I am. So if I'm this tall now, imagine how tall I was in 5th grade.
Oh my God.
Do you understand that? Everybody getting this? So they start picking people, and then you start looking around like, it's thinning out over here. I'm wondering when I'm going to get picked. And everybody's on the other side, and now they're looking at you. And then what they're thinking, they're like, those are the losers on the bench. I know. But here's what makes it worse. One of the captains was my cousin. Yeah, well, I can't be mad at the brother. He wanted to win. It wasn't like I'm the best basketball player on the planet. No, so he did what he thought was best for him at that moment in time. But internally, I got Shannon rejecting me, right? Now I got my family rejecting me. Now in middle school, we also started dressing a certain way. People start developing their style. Yeah, my style was called Sears and JCPenney's. Because that's all my mother knew was this place called Price's Corner. Now, if you're watching and you're from Delaware, you're from Pennsylvania, and you know where Price's Corner was, that's a little like, not a mall, but it's like little strip of stores. Does everyone understand that? There's like a mall, like a real mall that would have like the real Gap and the other places, and it was like a strip of stores. No one knows what I'm talking about, little strip of stores? Yeah. Well, so most of us, our parents bought our clothes based on their budget, right? Their budget. Now, Jordans are out. I'm not wearing Jordans. I'm wearing slacks, a button-down shirt, and some shoes. Why? Because I'm a PK. Right? So my mom wasn't dressing me like I'm going to school. She dressed me like I'm going to church. And I'm like, oh my God. Everybody else got like t-shirt on, some jeans, and some Jordans on. I'm like, this is not right. So what do you think they started calling me in school? That's the church boy. That's a church boy. Church boy can't hang out. Church boy can't do this. Church boy can't do that. So think about it. All these rejections. Shannon rejected me. Now I have my cousin, family members rejecting me. Now I'm getting peer rejection. And all those rejections get compounded. Now that's just elementary school and middle school. Now think about it. All of us in this room, how many of us went to elementary school? If you're watching online, how many went to elementary school? How many went to middle school? How many went to high school? Some of us went to college. So my question to you would be, how many rejections have you experienced? Most of us don't process them. We just push them to the side. We try to forget that they happen, but they're still there. And every time someone says no to you, all it does is trigger something that happened in the past. See, I had to come face to face with the ghosts of my past when I was 21 years old. At 21 years old, I was at the University of Delaware, and a friend of mine started a business. He asked me to join him. And I'm like, all right, cool. Business sounds great. Entrepreneurship. I've been reading some stuff. So I joined this business. Now, the business involves some sales. I wasn't a natural born salesperson. So I'm like, yes, I'll do it until I start looking at the telephone. I'm like, oh, I got to call some people today. And the phone looks back at me like, I'm right here for you. Whenever you want me, just come pick me up and dial my number, right? So how many of us, when it comes to picking up the phone, I want people watching online, put this in the feed, just say yes, because I know it's true, that you find busy work rather than actually talking to people. See, some of us, we're finding stuff to do like shuffle our papers, put our pencils in order, put all the pens of one color in one section and all the pens of another color in another section. Does this sound familiar to anybody else? Am I the only one? So here I am. I have this high level of ambition. I have all these goals. Because, they told me, I went to this training. They told me that you got to get a vision board. You got to get a dream board. You got to cut stuff out of a magazine and glue it up on the wall, put it on your board. And I had the board. And I looked at the board. They were like, visualize the board. I'm visualizing the board, but I still wasn't making no phone calls. All that does is get me mad at the board. I'm mad at this board. This board sucks. I'm going to tear this board down because this board ain't working. And I know you're watching online at home. You're like, Jerry, how you know? How you know I got my board on my wall? I know because I've heard it all. See, I had to realize that all that stuff wasn't going to change anything. And what makes it worse is I had this high level of ambition. I had these high goals. But if you have high goals and no action and no revenue, that just causes frustration. So a lot of us, what's happening for you is rejection is robbing you of your revenue. That's right. Blue hen in the room. That's my fellow blue hen over there. UD. We first met, I think it was like 95 out on campus. Something like that. Yeah, you need to tweet that. If you're watching on the feed, tweet that. Rejection is robbing you of your revenue. And now think about it. See, the word revenue is just like so detached from you. Let me keep it real. It's robbing you from your house that you want. It's robbing you from the car that you want. It's robbing you from the lifestyle you want. It's robbing you from putting the kids in the school that they want to go to. It's robbing you for doing stuff for your spouse that you really want to do for your spouse. Does everyone understand that? You got to go home. Some of us got to go home and we got to see the situation that we're living in and realize that our fear of rejection and rejection is robbing us from all the things that we say we want to do. I don't want my daughters to look at me as a father and be like, I have less choices because you're afraid to pick up the telephone. I don't want my wife to look at me and be like, you said you had to go out there and do all this stuff, and you leave home to go on these trips, and you come back with no money. Something got to change. See, I'm supposed to keep it real with you. There are a lot of people in the industry of speaking, coaching, all this stuff, ended up getting divorced. Why? Because rejection is robbing them of the lifestyle they really want with their family. And their spouse is looking at them saying, look, I've been putting up with this stuff for so long. We got to get this finances straight. I've been supporting your dreams and all that. You ain't making no money. Something got to change. They're like, keep on believing in me. Well, you got to believe in yourself first before I start believing in you. Does everyone understand this? So what I want to do today, how much time do I have left?
You good, man.
I want to just give you some of the ideas. Look, let's be real. We've cried about this stuff enough. It's time to stop being scared. You know, I had all the same stuff you went through. And I told you, I carried it all into adulthood. I had to learn some things. There's some things that I had to learn. And some of the things I learned, I'm going to share with you about how I process rejection, how I started to deal with it and handle it. Because you have to change how you see the word no. You got to change how you see the word no. Hey, check this out. See, I'm always looking for stuff. I never stop looking for stuff. Books, audios. I'm downloading stuff and watching stuff. I'm learning from every single thing I watch. I'm always learning. And I learned something the other day. I was watching Netflix, and I was watching this movie called, I think it was like The South Side with You, something like that. It's about President Obama and his wife on their first date. Has anyone heard of this movie? Have you heard it? If you're online, you got Netflix, you want to put that on your list, put it on your Netflix list. Because in that movie, the president says something. Well, he wasn't the president at the time. He was just, Barry at the time. And he was going out with Michelle. What I learned, here's something else I learned. President Obama got game. I was watching him like, this is a player. He's a player. Because he told Michelle we're going to go out as friends. That was his first move, player move. Like, we're just going to go out as work friends. And it turned into a date by the end of the movie. I'm like, that was smooth, brother. I was like, I had to learn that. I had to take some notes on that. I was like, I had to learn that. But here's what I picked up. He was speaking to a group of community members. And they were all frustrated. They're all upset because the city council had told them no. They were trying to get this funding for a building. And the city council said, no, you're not going to get it. No, no, no. And all they could do was look at the no. The no was hitting them in the face. They're like, all they keep telling us is no. They don't care about us. They don't care about us black people. All they care about is white people. Blah, 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 blah. So this is how I knew this man was destined to be president. Because even then, this was back in the 80s, when he got up to speak, something was on him. He was anointed. He said, no was just a word.
Yes.
And he said, when you take that word and you spell it backwards, you get a different word. And he said, what word do you get? And they were like, on. And they were like, okay. So he said, whenever you hear no, what you got to really hear is carry on. See, when I say no, you should say what?
Carry on.
When I say no, you should say what?
Carry on.
Carry on. Because see, no is just, you're really an opening to the next opportunity.
Right.
That's what you got to think about this. You got to see that no is just an opening to your next opportunity. Because when somebody's saying no for you here, that's just God telling you it's time to move on. See, what you got to understand is that Jesus told you were going to get rejected. And he told you how to deal with it. He said, when you go into a town and they don't accept your message, you take your foot and you shake it off. You shake the dust off your feet. So the first thing you need to start learning how to do is shake off the dust. And what you're doing right now is you're taking the dust with you, you're putting it in a bag, and you're carrying it from one conversation to the next conversation to the next conversation. And then you're wondering why the next conversation is not leading to an acquisition or even the dollars, because you're still bringing up the junk from the last person you talked to this new person.
You better preach. For real. Say it. Yeah. Wow.
If he told you it was going to happen, you should expect it to happen. He didn't tell them to save people. That's not what he told them to do. He said, deliver the message.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Wow.
And your responsibility is to make an offer. Your responsibility is not to convince them to get into the offer. But because you've been told what sales is, it is not what you've been told it is. You've been given these images in the movies of these sleazy salespeople with their shirts unbuttoned and their chest hairs hanging out. You're like, I don't want to be that joker. Because that's what you've been seeing in the movies. Now, I like good movies too, but those movies be messing up your mind. See, selling is an opportunity for you to give people a chance to transform their lives through your products or your services. That's what it is. When Jesus told them, he said, go spread the gospel. That was an opportunity for them to become transformed.
Yes, yes.
And it's up to them to take advantage of the opportunity. It's It's all about them. See, why does Baskin Robbins have 31 flavors? Because everyone doesn't want the same thing. And when you hear this rejection stuff, let me just get to it. The first thing you think about is you're like, oh, it's all about me. No, rejection has nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with them. You don't know how they were raised. You don't know what they were taught. You don't know their financial situation. You don't know anything about them. All they're saying is I don't want that product or service right now. And you're like, oh, there must be something wrong with me. There must be something wrong with my product. No. And the reason why you're holding on to it, and the reason why you're trying to force somebody to get in is because your list is not big enough. If your list was big enough, then you would just say, I'm going to call the next person. I don't got time to waste with you. Yes. This is the truth. I told you I was going to keep it real. Did I tell you I was going to keep it real?
Thank you.
If you spend more time attracting the people that you need to be part of your tribe, then asking them if they want to take advantage of the opportunity, the dollars are going to show up. Because it's all about numbers. But because we have only a limited amount of people, we're trying to like get everybody in. Because like I only got 5 people to talk to. I got to make sure one of these suckers get in today. Because I got bills to pay. I'm just telling you the truth. Why do I know this to be true? Why do I know it to be true? Because I've already lived it. This is my 14th year being self-employed. It's crazy. It's crazy to think about it. 14 years of full-time self-employment. I've been an entrepreneur over half my life. Because I'm 40 years old this year. I just turned 40. Happy birthday to me. And this year, I realized that, wow, if I started looking at becoming an entrepreneur when I was 20, right before my 21st birthday, I've been doing this entrepreneur thing over half my life. And I'm not trying to tell you, I'm not standing up here to tell you that the John is easy. That's a Philly word, I'm sorry. John is a person, place, or thing. It just slipped out, I'm sorry, it slipped out. I didn't realize what was happening. So if you don't know what the word John is, go to Google right now, type in J-A-W-N, John, okay? John, add it to your vocabulary. It's a really handy word. Because right now I'm about to lay down this John so you can get some Johns in your pocketbook. Okay? That's what I'm about to do. So what I'm telling you is that the only reason this topic resonates when I deliver it is because I've experienced it. I experienced it. I experienced the fear of the phone calls. I experienced the fear and like turning into a different person when it gets time to the offer. So I'm like, Jerry now. I'm like, do you want to get some stuff? Would you like to give me your credit card, please? Can I get a check? I'm like, no, it's okay if you don't have any money. Like people transform. I've seen people turn into a whole other person. They're flowing. They're like, woo. Then when it gets time to the offer, they're like, oh, okay, can we get those forms, please? Yeah, can someone actually just pass out the forms right now? I'm going to go over these forms. I'm not going to go over too long. I'm going to just go through this really fast because I got some stuff for you. And I know this will be some good stuff, and you probably want this stuff. But I know some of you may not want this stuff, but it's okay. Have you seen these type of things happen? The person just changes. But why are they changing? They're changing because subconsciously they have a certain belief about asking people for the sale. And if they've realized that selling is just giving them an opportunity to transform their lives, if you believe that your product is transformative, if you believe that your service is transformative, then you'd want to share that message with everybody because you know it can help them. And then you just leave it up to them whether they want to accept it or not. So what the first thing you got to understand, hopefully you put this in your notes. If you're online watching, rejection has nothing to do with you. It's not a reflection of who you are. It doesn't mean you're a good person or a bad person. It's just a thing. And they're saying, no, it's just a thing. And what I've learned, and I'm going to share a little bit about this later, what I've learned to appreciate the no. My goal is to get to the no as quickly as possible. Because I just want to move on to the person that wants to be giving me like, yeah, look, I don't got time for the no people. I only got time for the yes people. So the more time I spend with you, that's less time with the yes people, and really that's less time doing what I really want to do, which is my real job. This is not my real job. My real job is in Pennsylvania. My real job is in Kennett Square. My real job is at the bus stop, where I stand every morning in the cold with my daughters waiting for the bus to come. That's my real job. Because my job is to be a husband and a father. This is just what I do to allow myself to be the husband and the father. But the only reason I can take care of my real job is because I got dollars in my bank account. So some people are like, Jerry, you're always traveling. And I'm like, well, I travel more than most. But you go to work every day. Some days, I don't even get dressed. I go to the bus stop and come right back inside and put on ESPN. And it's nice and quiet. No offense, ladies, but sometimes when all the women are out the house, as a man, that's like pleasure. Like, whoa, there's nobody here but me. Yes, I can just do whatever I want to do. Yeah. But most folks are like, yo, why you just got sweatpants on, t-shirt. I go to get a sub, like a cheesesteak, and I know they're looking at me like, man, this guy's unemployed. He is unemployed because he always here. He's like, he don't have no job, he not dressed up, he just be coming in with some sneakers, sweatpants, like, yo, gotta get a little chicken cheesesteak, please. Yeah. But that's okay. Because that's what I wanted. I didn't want to clock in every day. I didn't want somebody to tell me what to do. I am psychologically unemployable.
That's right.
I have a problem when people tell me what to do. It's something in my spirit. I'm like, why? Why are we doing that? That don't make any sense to me. And that's the type of people you get fired a lot. Like, you don't get fired. You get too many questions. You ask too many questions, brother. You ask too many questions. Then you get labeled like you're the angry black person. You're the angry black person that's all these questions. And I'm like, that's not for me. But see, here's the problem. If you can have the brand, but you're not going to get to the dollars unless you deal with this acquisition part, which is dealing with the rejection part. So what is your responsibility? I already shared it with you. Your responsibility is to deliver the what? The message. Hashtag, put that in the comments. If you're watching online, put that in the comments. Your responsibility is to deliver the message. Is there a choice to accept it or to say no? Yes or no is all their choice. Here's what you also got to understand. Nobody likes rejection. I'm not going to stand up here and lie to you and be like, it doesn't hurt. Yes, it does hurt sometimes. And it's supposed to hurt because they've done studies on this. They've done a test. It was called an EFMRI, some brain scan they did, where they showed that the physical pain that you get from somebody actually punching you, cutting you, and all that jazz is the same physical pain you experience when someone says no. It triggers the same stuff in your brain. So the fact that it hurts when someone says no, that's okay. Just like you get sick. People get a cold. What do? Take some medicine, keep it moving. They don't be like, I ain't gonna call nobody else till I got a cold today. I hope not. They already get what I'm saying? It's supposed to happen. It's supposed to hurt. It's just a part of the process. It's part of life. And you got to accept this fact, that it happens to everybody. See, once I realize that it happens to everybody, then I'm not looking like, oh, my situation's so bad. Because we start to turn up the volume. My youngest daughter, Jaylyn is dramatic. She turns up the volume on everything. I'm like, this is Jaylyn being Jaylyn. Just gotta let it go. It's like Jaylyn being Jaylyn. Like, oh, there's no more French fries. Oh my God. Like, it's all right. We can always get some more French fries. Just turn it up. Some of us, we turn up the volume too much. Here's what I realized. Every disruptor gets rejected. Every disruptor gets rejected. And we just celebrated one of the most dynamic disruptors on the planet. See, what you got to realize is your rejection is light. You got light rejection. Some jokers get met with violent rejection. Everyone who's changed our society on some level was met with a violent rejection. See, what I do with my daughters, because I want them to develop into strong black women, is I expose them to leadership principles. We watch The Prophet together. We watch Shark Tank together. We watch movies about dynamic leaders together. So we were watching Gandhi. And I'm breaking down Gandhi to them. Now, Gandhi, was he a dynamic, life-changing? What did they say yesterday? She was like a game changer? Was Gandhi a game changer? Okay, I guess not. Do you know who Gandhi was? Do you know who he was? Was he a game changer? Yes, he changed the game. Martin Luther King, was he a game changer?
Yes.
Was Jesus a game changer?
Yes.
Guess what? They shot Martin. Gandhi, his own people shot him. The people who he freed from the British Empire, they shot him. Because he wanted them all to get together and be one as a whole nation of Indians. And they said, no, I'm Hindu. No, I'm Muslim. We can't hang out together, which is why you now have Pakistan and India. Two separate countries used to be one. And guess what Jesus did? They crucified him, and he was innocent. So if they crucified Jesus, they shot Gandhi, they shot they shot Martin, and they shot Medgar, they shot all these brothers, then guess what? I'm going to get a no. And I shouldn't be like sweating it, because ain't nobody shooting me yet. Now, I'm not against getting shot either. I don't say I want it to happen. But I understand that sometimes in life, you got to go out and be disruptive enough even to put your life on the line. That's just the risk you got to take if you want to be a dynamic person in this world. That's just the risk you got to take. So when they're saying no to me, the no is okay to me because they're not crucifying me. They're not stretching me out. They're not whipping me. They're not putting a spear in my side. They're not shooting me in the head. They're not putting a bullet in my head. You understand what I'm saying to you? So if it happened to them, and we always look at them like, oh, guess what? They were human. Jesus was 33 years old when they crucified him. 33. Everyone understand this? How old was Martin when he got killed? 39. These were young people. We look at them and was like, oh, they were old. No! They were young. Some of them were younger than some of the people in this room. I'm not going to ask you to stand up. But do you understand what I'm saying to you? If it happened to them, is it going to happen to you? Yes, we should just expect it to happen. We should just know it's going to happen. The problem is that you are out of shape. That's the problem. When it comes to dealing with the no, you're out of shape. Years ago, when I was in high school, I was an athlete. I was on varsity all 4 years on the wrestling team. And every year was the same thing. The first 2 weeks always sucked. Because what usually happens when you're not in season for most high school athletes? You don't typically train. First of all, athletics back then, for those watching online, athletics back in the day is different than now. There wasn't like sports all year round and your parents taking you all around the country trying to make you to a super athlete. You just played the sport just to play the sport. Anyone remember those days? You just played the sport just to play the sport? Yeah. So in the off season, I wasn't always training at the same level that I was training in season. So how many of us here in the room? If you're in the room, let me see if you were an athlete. Any athletes in the room? If you're online, if you were an athlete, just say, yes, I was an athlete. I had practice after school, whatever it is, whatever sport. Shout out your sport. Put your sport. I want to know what sport. If you're online, I want to know what sports. I'm going to look at the comments. After I get off the stage, I'm going to look at the comments. I want to know what sport you were in. You see, every season, it took about 2 weeks for my body to get adjusted. See, most of us haven't learned to embrace the no. That's what I mean by you're out of shape. You haven't embraced it because you get a no, and my question to you is, how long does it take you to get back on track when you get a no? Because for some people, no knocks them out the game. Is this true or not true? Does no knock you out the game for some people? I'm not saying those in this room. I'm not saying those online. I'm just saying some people. Is this true or not true? It's true. So the amount of space between their next action, it could be 5 minutes, it could be 10 minutes. Some people make 1 call a day, some people 2 calls a day, whatever. So here's what you got to do. You got to understand that it's time for us to get back in shape, and you get back in shape by embracing it. So I got a couple steps for you. If you're taking notes, you definitely want to write this stuff down. I'm going to give you some steps to help you out in terms of how to handle rejection. Step number 1, get a rejection journal or diary, depending on how you want to look at it. Get a rejection journal or diary. That's step number 1. Now, I know we got a split room. There's some division here. There's some people who want electronic. Some people who still want paper. I can just see it by looking at the tables. Some people are typing. Some people are online and typing. Some people are writing stuff down. I'm still a paper dude. I still like to write stuff down on paper. I don't know what it is. I'm just a little old school. So if you want an electronic journal, I got something for you. There's a website called penzu.com. You go to penzu.com. So if you're online, that's penzu.com. penzu.com, penzu.com. So put that down in the comments in the feed, put penzu.com. That's a free website where you can get an electronic journal. Now, for those of us who want a journal that's, paper, I go out and I get custom journals. There's a website called bookfactory.com. You go to bookfactory.com, you can put your name on the journal, your website on the journal. So I have a journal that has my website, has I made my own slogan on it. It's jerrypoe.com, live victoriously on there. So whenever I sit it on the table, number one, it's marketing for me because there's my website on it. So whatever you want to do, go out there and get a rejection journal. That's the first thing. Now the second part, let's see how you handle this. I'll have a goal for you. The goal is to go out and get 100 no's. That's the goal. The goal is to go out and get 100 no's. Now, let's be clear. I did not say I have 100 conversations. Does everyone understand that? Yes. There's a difference between having 100 conversations and getting 100 no's. Because some people are like, I talk to 100 people. But everyone that you talk to may not say no. I want you to go out there and get 100 no's. And here's what I want you to do. I want you to do that for a couple reasons. Okay, number one, it's called immersion therapy. Now, I'm not a doctor, nor do I play one on TV. Okay? But I did watch this movie called Batman Begins. Yeah, Batman. That was a dope movie, first of all. Had Morgan Freeman in there. Morgan Freeman. Morgan Freeman's in there. So typically movies with Morgan Freeman are going to be pretty good movies, typically. It had Christian Bale as Batman. He was a darker character. Did anyone see this movie? If you saw this movie online, say Batman Begins was dope. Batman Begins was dope. Type that in the comments, okay? In the movie, in the very, 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 very beginning.
To the Batmobile.
Oh, there we go. Yep. Same Bat channel, same Bat time. I've seen all the Batmans, by the way. In the movie, Bruce Wayne, as a child, fell down this well. In the well, there was a bunch of bats, and the bats scared him. He actually had a fear of bats. See, most people don't understand why he picked Batman as the character. He picked Batman as the character because it was his fear. He embraced his fear, and he turned his fear into a vigilante. Okay, that's a whole nother training all on itself. All right, I'm going to put that on the side. Put that on the shelf. Put that on the shelf for later. I might do a broadcast about that. How do you turn your fear into your mission? I know, they didn't get it, Trevor. They didn't get it. Somebody got it. Somebody online probably got it. They're like, Jerry, please do a broadcast on that. I will do it just for you. Sometime this month, I'll probably throw that out there. So check this out. As he became an adult, he knew he wanted to create this character. So the very first thing he did was had to get in touch with the fear. He went back to the same spot that he fell in as a child. And he was a grown man now, and he stood there in the cave that he had fell in. And he stood there and let all the bats fly around him. 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. And there's a scene in the movie where he's just standing there like this. And he's just like feeling it. He's feeling the emotion. And he's embracing it. And he's letting himself become a master of the emotion rather than the emotion a master of him. So because you have not immersed yourself in a no controls your business. You don't control it. No controls it. No controls your bank account. No controls your vacation. No controls everything you do. There was another movie when a dude would say, who's the master? So put that in the notes. Put that in your notes. Put that in your, if you're watching online, I want you to answer that question. Who's the master? Who's the baddest man in town? He was like, who's the master? And Bruce Lee would be like, I don't know who the master is. Right? So my question to you is, who's the master? In your business, who is the master? Who controls what you do? Is it the no or is it you? And if we're completely honest with ourselves, just be real honest, for a lot of us, you got to say it's the no. Because your revenue is not where you want it to be because you haven't gone through enough no's yet for the no does not bother you. Where you just accept it as just being part of the process. See, anyone who's ever trained, they train to take the abuse of the situation. A boxer gets punched so he knows how to take a punch. He doesn't just walk into the ring and be like, I've never been punched before. I'm going to go ahead and fight Tyson. We all saw how that worked. That's why the fights only lasted 30 seconds. I went to the restroom. I came back. Michael Speaks was knocked out. What happened? So, yeah, he did. I would have fought Tyson for a couple million, too. I wouldn't even let him touch me. He just breathed. Because he ain't biting my ear off. You know, I got nice little cute ears. You know, I ain't biting my ear off. So check this out. Every day you wake up in the morning, I want you to look at yourself in the mirror and ask yourself the question, who's the master? Who's the master? Because I don't care. I really don't. Because you have to look in the mirror. I got to look at myself in the mirror. You got to look at yourself in the mirror. My business is going to be okay. Whether you deal with no or not, I'll be all right. Does everyone understand that? I'm going to be all right. And I'm not giving out donations. So don't come to me off the stage and be like, Jerry, can I get a free coaching session? I'm going to tell you right now, this will be your first no for the day. The answer is no. You are not getting a free coaching session. Now, we can have an appointment where we talk about how you can acquire me as a coach to help you with the process of dealing with rejection. We can have that conversation, and I'll be willing to have that with you. Okay? But I'm not going to be like, let me give you some tips right here for free while I'm here till Sunday. Like, no, that's not my role today. It's not my role tomorrow either, okay? Or Sunday before my flight. So don't be like, yo, Jerry, can you hook your brother up, hook your sister up? No, hook your sister up, you know. No hookups while I'm here, all right? Just throwing it out there. Just throwing it out there. Let's be clear, just straight up front. So my point to you is you got to look in the mirror because you got to look at yourself. You have to look at your bank account. You got to look at your stuff. You got to look at your life, and you got to say, who is the master? Who's the master? If you're online, you got to look in the mirror and ask yourself, who's the master every day? And the reason why most people have not mastered it because they haven't gone through 100 no's. Now, you would think like, oh, Jerry, how do you know this to be true? Because I'm not the only person who's ever said it. There are a lot of people out there who are smarter than me. See, growing up in a small town in Pennsylvania, I learned one concept early on. It's called R&D. Now, you're probably watching online. You're in the room today. You're like, R&D, I know what that's for. That's research and development. Not when you leave in the country. It's called rob and duplicate. Rob and duplicate. Yeah, I'm going to let somebody else do the stuff. And then when they're done, I'm like, oh, that worked out really well. Let me go ahead and take those same steps, and I'll get the same results. I have become a master at rob and duplicate. Everyone get that? That's why I'm on the stage today, because I've been mastering rob and duplicate forever. I did not graduate from University of Delaware. I failed out of college, because the stuff that I was studying, you don't get credit for. It was called parties. There was no major in the nocturnal habits of the young African American youth. If there was a major in that, I would have a PhD. Okay, I went to all the parties. Dell State, Lincoln, Westchester, Cheney. They was partying. I was there. Yeah, I hung out with Richard Allen too. Yeah. So I had to learn, after I failed out of college, which was basically one of the biggest rejections I ever had in my life, that was actually the setup for where I am now. If I did not get rejected out of college, I probably would have went on the traditional route and never changed. I wouldn't have learned how to sell. I would have went ahead and become an engineer and been okay with an engineer life, because that's what I thought I wanted to do, because engineers made a certain amount of money. Does everyone get what I'm saying? So all the skill sets that I learned through rob and duplicate, because I wanted to study the people who were already successful and figure out what was it that had them become successful. Why did they do it? I wanted to surround myself with those who had the expertise. I wanted to immerse myself in those people who were already experts, not just experts in the past, but they're still experts and they're still making things happen. See, a lot of people go out there and like, I'm going to become a coach, and they haven't done nothing in 10 years. You want to go around people who actually learned it and are still doing it and are still innovating. So, and there's a book called Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell. In the book, he talks about how it takes 1,000 hours. 1,000 hours to master something. Now, all I'm doing is telling you to go out and get 100 no's. See, most people don't want to put their steps in. They don't want to go through the time. They just look like, I started my business today. I hope to be a millionaire tomorrow. No. They don't understand this is the journey. There's a journey, there's a process. It doesn't happen overnight. But there is a way to accelerate the process. See, you can accelerate, like any car. I was just watching, what was I watching yesterday? It was like 2 days ago. Fast and the Furious, 35, whatever one it was. Because I don't even know what number they're up to. It was like Too Fast, Too Furious or something like that. And they're always putting that stuff in the car, where they call it, nitrous or whatever, nitrous. The cars aren't meant to run that fast. They put stuff in there to make it accelerate. So my question is, how are you accelerating your business? Are you just going on a normal gas? Or are you putting some nitrous in it? You put the nitrous in it by getting yourself access to the experts that you need in order to take your business to the next level. And most of these jokers, if you watch Fast and the Furious, they don't have one tank of nitrous. They have multiple tanks of nitrous. They be like, boom, boom, boom. They just keep hitting switches. Because their job is to outpace the other person that they're racing. So the question is, how many experts do you have access to? And how many experts do you have access to on a consistent basis? Are you getting this? Yeah. If this is helping you out, you're watching online, you're watching the replay, and this is helping you out, say, Jerry, keep it going, Jerry, keep it going. Put that in the comments. Say, keep it going, Jerry. Or you can do like they did on Jerry Springer, be like, Jerry. You can do whatever works for you, whatever works for you. So how many no's are we going to get?
100.
100 no's. And why are we getting 100 no's?
To get to rejection.
To immerse yourself and get yourself in shape. You want to be in shape, in business shape. Look about it. You do it for everything else. Like, I'm going to get in shape to wear this dress. I'm going to get in shape to go to this wedding. I'm going to get in shape to go out here. Am I making this stuff up or is this real?
Real.
When it comes to business, people are like, I'm just here. I'm going to do some stuff. Here's the next thing. Whenever you get a no, you want to document what happened. This is the purpose of having a journal. Document each individual rejection. What did they say? What did you say? See, a lot of times people have rejection. You know what the question they ask themselves is, what is wrong? Someone wise once said that powerful people ask powerful questions. I think his name was Trevor. Maybe you didn't get that joke. It's all right. They'll get it later. They'll get it later. They'll be like, there's a time delay on that one. So powerful people ask powerful questions because questions steer focus. So when you say what's wrong, what are you focused on? What did you do wrong? Why didn't it work? Oh, something must be bad with me. So you know what I ask myself is what happened? Because all I want is the facts. There used to be a show, I think it was Dragnet. And they were like, the facts, ma'am, only the facts. Anyone remember that show? I'm not the only one who ever watched that show. Dragnet, only the facts, only the facts. So what did they say? What did I say? Because some things you could be saying are triggering their response. So if I know what I'm saying, I can alter my language to get a different response from the customer, from the client. You also want to document how you feel. So based on what happened, how did that make me feel and why am I feeling this way? Document each and every experience. Now remember, I said in order to get 100 no's, you're going to have more than 100 conversations. Because some of these conversations, the no is going to actually become a yes. You're not going to be like, I'm looking for a no today, I'm looking for a no today. Oh, I got a yes. Oh, my God. It just messed. Now you're going to be mad. You're going to be mad at getting yeses. How about that for a situation to be in? Like, I'm trying to get to 100 no's. Now you're giving me a yes. I'm upset about it. I got some money. Is everyone see how that's going to change the whole game, change the whole posture, change how you just look at the whole situation? Now, here's another reason why. And why am I telling you the why? Because see, most people don't care about the how. They only care about the why. You got to know why it's important to do this. It's important to do this so you can predict your business. Business should be predictable. So what I've taught Layla and Jaylin is the fundamentals of Shark Tank. Know your numbers.
Say it again.
Know your numbers. See, Jaylin is in 3rd grade, and she knows how to evaluate the worth of a business. So I showed her how to do the percentage and the multipliers. So when they come in and they say, oh, 10%, and I want $1 million, or no, what do they usually say now? I want to give you 10% for $100,000. So then Jaylin says, they better have some good sales. Does everyone understand what I'm saying? Because she did the math in her head to see that they're saying their business is worth $1 million. If your business is worth $1 million, that can be true if you have the sales to back it up. But most people come in there with some whack numbers, they don't even know their numbers, and they get eaten up by the sharks. So my question to you is, what are your numbers? How many no's does it take you to get a yes? This should be predictable. Business should be predictable because business is numbers, and numbers never lie. See, the only way, here's the problem with our society. The only time we measure numbers is sports. We know everybody's statistics. He does this many points a game. He got triple-double. He's this hitting number, 3,000 hits or whatever. We know all those numbers. People are ratting off the statistics. Last week, he went 3 for 13. When it's in my business, like, yeah, I don't, what's your customer acquisition cost?
What's that?
Does everyone understand what I'm saying to you? So that's what got real quiet. And I was like, what's your numbers? Everybody's like, The silence is telling. By going through 100 no's, you will learn to develop your yes or no ratio. Put that down in your notes. Put that down in the feed. What is your yes to no ratio? I can predict how many conversations I need to have in order to get to a yes. That tells me how many conversations I need to have in order to get this amount of money in my bank account. I can predict it. I can look at the attendance of an audience. And I know, like, all right, with this number, I got to do this. I'm going to have to do this number of packages in order to get what I really need, in order for this to be profitable. All this stuff. It's like, and I put these numbers up on the wall. If you were listening to me on the Black CEO Morning Show, I said you have to have a mission. I talked about doing a revenue reboot a couple weeks ago, a revenue reboot. And I said the first thing to have a revenue reboot is you have to have a mission. And I take the mission and I put it up on the wall. I put it on the mirror. I put it everywhere. And I see, because I read this book one time. It was actually an anthology, a collection of other books. And it said that you need to write down the vision to make it plain. Yeah, I'm not sure the title of that book, but some of you might have heard of that book before. The Basic Instructions Before Leaving Earth. That's what it was called. That's what it was called. My bad. The Basic Instructions Before Leaving Earth. Make sure you Google that. If you're listening online, Google Basic Instructions Before Leaving Earth. Make sure you get that book. Okay, it was a co-authored book. Okay, there's a couple different people wrote that book, put it all together, and I think it's one of the best. It's probably one of the best sellers. I've heard. I don't know for sure, but I heard it's one of the best sellers that's out there. So the question still remains: do you know your numbers? What's your yes to no ratio? And here's why I want you to go through 100 no's. I want you to understand this thing. What most people don't realize is their mindset is tainted because our society celebrates past victories. Most people aren't talking about their future. They're always talking about their past. This is why I don't really stay at family gatherings too long. Because they be like, yeah, back in the day. Back in the day. And I'm like, all right, Uncle Jim. You know, I used to be able to dunk back in the day. You ever heard these conversations like, yeah, well, back in the day, I used to do this, back in the day, I used to do that, and this. No, yeah, always back in the day. But here's what. You know who lives back in the day? Business owners. They're always talking about what I did from the last transaction. You know, I got a sale yesterday. I sold a book yesterday. I did this before. I did that before. I don't care what you did before because that money's already gone. You understand that? The question is like, what you going to do next? And that's because most people don't understand that life is lived not in the future, not in the past, but is lived in the now. See, when people are looking at this yes to no thing, they have what we call location. You know where you are. Hopefully you know where you are. Okay, and you know where you want to go. So right over here, the location that we are is you're trying to get from the one spot to the yes spot. So over here is where you are, you're trying to get to a yes. But in between is what I call the journey. And most people have never learned to appreciate the journey. They don't appreciate the progress. Because what they do is they spend more time focusing on their faults and not enough time counting their victories. When you start to change your perspective and understand that as I go from one destination to the next, I'm going to get a no, and get a no. But most people are always looking to get what? They always want the yes. They always want the yes. See, yes is where we're going, but no is how we get there. See, I look at the no as mile markers. And every no that I get, I'm getting closer to my destination. Because what you need to put in your notes is yes is where we're going, but no is how we get there. And if you don't understand that, you're never going to appreciate the process of the journey. Yes is where we are going, but no is how we get there. If you're watching online, you need to put that in the feed. Yes is where we're going, but no is how we get there. So when you're driving on the highway, you see the mile markers on the side of the road. The mile markers tell you how close you're getting to where you want to go. So every time you get a no, that's a mile marker. Next opportunity, next opportunity, next opportunity, next opportunity. And I'm getting excited because I know a yes is going to pop up here sooner or later. But I got to appreciate the journey because every single day I'm in my life, in my business, I'm going from one no to another no to another no to another no. And most people they're feeling bad about the no's. They're getting upset about the no's. So what are you doing? You're not enjoying life. You're wasting life. Because all they're trying to do is celebrate one destination. But here's what happens. When you get to the next destination, that destination becomes your new location. And the process starts again. So I want to make sure you get this. I'm going to have you feed it back to me. When I say this quote, yes is where we're going, knows how we get there, we're going to just say it all together. Can we do that? Can we do that? Can we get some energy in the room? Because I feel like the energy just like dropped on me. Like, oh, numbers, that's what it is? Numbers put people to sleep? Okay. Well, yeah, but see, dollars are numbers. And if you don't understand the numbers, you're going to have a lot of zeros. See, what I learned to turn the zeros, the no's, into dollars. So, yes is where we are all. We can do better than this. We can do better than this. We can do better than this. Isn't this Womanpreneur take? Are you trying to take over or are you pretending to take over? Are you really going to take over? Yes is where we're all going. And no is how we get there. Yes is where we are going and no is how we get there. Yes is where we're going and no is how we get there. Yes is where we're going and no is how we get there. Yeah. Every day. After you ask yourself who's the master, you should be saying, yes is where I'm going, but no is how I get there. Put it to a beat, wrap it up, rhyme it, put some spins on it. DJ 5-Star can probably remix it for you. Yes is where I'm going, but no is how I get there. Yes is where I'm going, but no is how I get there. Yes is where I'm going, but no is how I get there. You gotta enjoy the journey. Otherwise, you're not gonna be getting to the yes. Because you're so beat up because you never shook the dust off your feet. So I'm getting a no, I'm shaking it, and I'm like, next conversation. Another no, next conversation. Next conversation. I'm just shaking it off. Because I'm not trying to bring the past into the, yeah. Because if I keep bringing the past into the present, what do I get? More of the past. Is everybody getting this? Are you getting this? All right, hold on. I have one more secret. Can I give you another secret? This is not a plan. This is not in the PowerPoint. Can I give you another secret? Yep. Yes. All right, so earlier I said that if you want to really accelerate this thing, the whole key was R&D, right? Rob and yeah, and the way to rob and duplicate is to have access to a lot of experts. See, this is only part of the process. We started with the brand. We said the brand has to turn into an acquisition conversation, and the acquisition conversation turns to dollars. But there's some other components here that you need. Okay, you need to have an O component and an R component. See, at some point you have to have some operations. See, if you close the sale, who's going to put the stuff together to service it? How do they get the product? How do they get the service? When do they have the meetings? There has to be some type of operations in order for you to get to the dollars. Because is the dollars the gold? Yeah, so you have to have the brand, but you also have to have operations. Would everybody agree with this? So you have the brand, you have the operations, but now you got a customer. The acquisition is the customer. Is it harder to get a new one or to keep one? Yeah, getting a new customer costs you more than acquiring the one that you get. But you know where most people fail, small business owners? They fail in developing a relationship. I don't even spell this right. I'm gonna put some dots in the middle. My brain just went on freeze real quick. You know what the word is. Spell it out. Relationships. Okay? Real ships. All right? Because I'm keeping it real today. There's going to be just some real ships. You need to get some real ships. Okay? You need to get some real ships to bring those dollars into your bank account. How about that? That's what you need to do. Get some real ships to bring those dollars into your bank account. So that would make it all work. Just put it all in and spend it out. All right, so check this out. You got the customer, but now you got to develop a relationship because the relationship is key to retention. Key to the retention. And then if you have the brand, you have the operation, you have the acquisition, which is the sales process, which is why rejection therapy is so important, then that leads to the relationship. Now you get to the dollars. But here's what I want you to get. What does that word spell right there? Most businesses, successful businesses, the CEO is supported by a board of advisors. But when we get into business, we try to be everything. We're running a restaurant, we're the hostess, we're the server, we're the cook, we're the dishwasher, and we're wondering why people's food is cold. Is everyone getting this? If you want to accelerate your business, what do you need to get? A board. See, we've been taught for years to get a coach, and coaching is great. I'm a big fan of sports, especially football. It's football season right now, right? Playoffs. Yeah, playoffs. Now, I've seen over there on the table, they have some shirts for some teams that aren't even in the playoffs anymore. That's a tragedy. The Cowboys is on there and saw that. They're not even in the playoffs. I don't think they even made it to a winning season. I don't know what they did. But the Eagles are still in the playoffs. The Eagles are still a real team in the playoffs, okay? Now check this out. On the field, you have multiple coaches. And the coaches specialize on specific positions. There's a head coach, offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator. They have a defensive backs coach. So what does the coach do? A coach is specialized in specific aspects of business, but there's typically not one coach that does all the positions. Does everyone get that? See, if you want to work on a specific skill set, get yourself a coach. If you want your business to accelerate, you need to get yourself a board. Is everyone getting this? Yeah. See, every team, what we see is, this is so funny. See, what's invisible is more important than what's visible. What's invisible is more important than what's visible. You know who you never see are the people who pay the coaches and the players. See, there's a board for each football team. There's a board of directors that makes decisions, that decide what happens on the field. We celebrate the victory of the team, so we're looking at the coaching. So most people just stop at the coaching, like, all I need is to get is a good coach. Because you got to think about it. Where did this whole coaching and business come from? It started with sports. They took the sports model. They said, let's apply that to business. But they stopped. And they didn't go past the coaches to who really runs the organization. The organization, the Philadelphia Eagles have a president. They got a CEO. They got a board of directors. Then they got some dudes underneath that. They got some vice presidents. The board controls the whole thing. So my question to you is, do you have a board? If you're listening to this feed, the question is, do you have a board? And most of us, do we have a board? No. And why do most small businesses, why don't they have a board? Is because they can't put it into the budget. They got to go hire somebody to be the financial officer, the sales officer. Because here's what you got to understand. I'm going to break this down for you real simple. The brand, guess what? In a company, a real company, that would be the chief branding officer. Does that sound familiar? Then they have also the chief marketing officer. And nowadays, you got this chief social media officer. Those are 3 different board positions. Usually board positions, where Stephanie was talking about this earlier, the C-suite. Did she talk about the C-suite yesterday? Usually board positions are 6-figure positions, at least. Then you got the operations. So that's what, the COO, the chief operations officer. Then if you're doing it with technology stuff, you got to have the chief technology officer. Acquisitions, that's the chief sales officer. The relationship communication officer. Then with the dollars, chief financial officer. All those positions got to be filled on your board if you want your business to be successful. Because your job is to be the CEO. And CEO is not the chief everything. I'm going to be everything and all the things. Everything and all the things. Got it all covered. We just sit at the one desk. We just keep changing nameplates. All right, change nameplate, change nameplate, change nameplate, change nameplate, change nameplate. I'm making the phone calls. I got to close the deals. Got to do it up. Got to do it up. Got to do it up. And then you're like, oh, business is hard. It's really hard out here being an entrepreneur. You know, the job wasn't that bad. I think I'm going to go back to my job again. But think about it. What if there was a game changer? A way that you can get yourself access to a board of directors that would fit right into the budget for your company. Shay, help me out, brother. You got the forms? Oh, you want to pass them out? Or you want to have them come to you? Yes, pass them out. I'm going to demonstrate how it's done. DJ 5-star, you hit them with that music, that rise up music. Be great, my man, be great. It's time for your business to rise up. The only way you're going to rise up is to get yourself a board. For your business, you need a board in order to help you make the decisions. You need a board in order to cover every one of these areas. If you want the dollars, how many of us really want the dollars? No, if you want the dollars, stand up. Let me be real. Let's keep it real. If you want the dollars, stand on your feet. I'm going to do like they do at church. If you want it, come stand on your feet. Now, in order for you to get to the dollars, you got to put all the pieces together in place. Every one of you is here for a reason. You have a mission. You have a goal. You want to help people. You know that people out there, they need your products. They need your services. The question is, what's holding you back from serving all the people that you've been called to serve? It's because you're trying to do everything on your own. Why not have me as your sales officer? Why not have Trevor as your marketing officer? Why not have Shay as one of your sales officers? Have someone as your communication officer. Have Spalding as one of your operations officers. And you have access to all of our expertise. Can I borrow that form? Thank you. Look at this. This is crazy. When Trevor came up with this idea, I thought he was insane. He said, why not give everybody access to the same board the Black CEO uses? You know, last year we went from 0 people in February to over 200,000 people in the tribe. Next month, we are celebrating the first year anniversary of the Black CEO. How did we accelerate from 0 people to over 200,000 people in less than 9 months, 10 months? It's only because we decided it's time to stop doing everything on your own. It's time to start getting yourself access to the expertise that you need. Right here you see, you're getting all the board members. Every one of those things I just mentioned, technology, operations, sales, finance, marketing, all that's done for you. You're getting access to these people every single week. Do you know what your business is going to need next week? Do you know what crises are going to come up next week? No. Things happen in your business before you even know that's going to happen. But what if you can get an expert on the phone every single week? Every Thursday at 7 p.m., we have a boardroom call where you get 2 trainings from one of the sales officers. Then you get to ask questions based on what your business is experiencing that day. What challenges you have that week? You need to go to that specific officer and ask them, is it a finance question? Get to the finance officer. If it's a communication question, get to the communication officer. Are you getting this? When you have a coach, you only got one expert at one time. I wish I could take all my coaches I had over my lifetime and put them in my business all at the same time. I would accelerate it a lot faster. It took me too long to get to this position. I don't want you to suffer the same way I had to suffer. Now here's what's really key. Not only are you getting all the boardroom, you're getting the briefcase. The briefcase by itself is worth more than the boardroom. Every speaker that came up here had a text message system. Why do they have a text message system? To help build their leads. Why are people having issues with rejection? Because I said their list was not big enough. Do you have a communication system right now for your business to have people be able to text in and communicate you through text? Everybody's been talking about email, but email is dead. Who checks their email? Everybody got their phone on them all the time to check in their phone. So you're getting that for free as part of the boardroom. You're getting a video system that lets you play the videos. You can pre-record the videos and play them whenever you want to. All that's included right in the boardroom. Now, this is crazy. All this right here, the big ticket sales camp, product development camp, Happy Entrepreneur, all access to the previous calls for the Black CEO Morning Show and the Evergreen Revenue Model are included in part of the boardroom. Now the boardroom, the value of that's over $4,000. But we broke this down to make it easy. We know everyone's business is a different area of cash flow. So right now at the conference, where it says conference special, put $97 a month. $97 a month. You get to hire us to work for you for $97 a month, every single week. So for those of you who are serious about this, I don't want no players, no games, no. If you're serious, just go ahead and fill out the bottom of your form. It's real simple. Put your name, address, city, state, your method of investment right here at the bottom, and then bring the form to myself, bring the form to Shay, and we want to make sure you get set up in the boardroom this weekend, because we're going to have a call next week, and you want to make sure you get access to the boardroom. Now, if you're watching online, I'm not trying to leave you out. You go to accesstheboardroom.com. Accesstheboardroom.com. That's ACCESS, theboardroom.com. Accesstheboardroom.com. You'll see the same display. And for a limited time, this is not forever, $97 a month, you're going to get access to the boardroom. And when you're part of the boardroom, the briefcase is included automatically. Now, the Black CEO is growing and growing and growing. As we continue to keep growing, we're not going to be able to offer the boardroom for $97 a month. Pretty soon, it's going to go up to $297 a month just for the boardroom. And if you want the briefcase, $497. So if I was you and I was here, because look, think about it. You were one of the faithful that made it. I'm rewarding those who made it. Everybody didn't make it. Some people tapped out. They're like, I can't make it. I can't get here. I'm not going to push forward. I'm not going to do everything that it takes to get here. So I want to reward the champions. I want to reward the winners. I want to reward those who are victorious. So I'm making this offer here today. So as I walk off the stage, I know my time is coming to an end. Bring these forms to me now. I'll take the top copy. You keep the bottom copy as a receipt. Use this for your tax purposes. Because now if you're a business, this is a write-off. $97 a month. And we have a tax professional in the room. She talk to you, break it down for you. Now all I want to know is this. Was this helpful for you? Yes. Do you see why you need to have a board? All right. Who's up next? Am I done? So what do you want to do with these forms? Bring them to me. I'll be around in the back. Fill out the form. I'll keep the top copy. You keep the bottom copy. And if you want to have a conversation about all the board members and who's on the board, any questions about it, just come see me. I'll be around until tomorrow. All right? Because I want to make sure you get what you need while I'm here. All right? If you're online, you can always look for me in the Facebook group, Jerry Franklin Poe. You can always find me there. I'm in the Black CEO group, all the tribes. So just holler at me, shout me out.
All right, Jerry.
All
Poe.
right.
All right. Come on.
Let's give it up for Jerry.